we are gods in our own right if we truly believe it. You live your life based on what you want to do. There is that freedom and that choice and that complete authenticity to just be who you want to be and who you actually are. Everything is figure outable. You'll find a way. You're exactly where you need to be. I moved from South Africa to Australia when I was quite young. Fighting was always a huge thing for me. I've always wanted to be a professional fighter. It's cool. My mum used to allow us to fight these people that wanted to fight me in the street. But in doing so, she taught me things: responsibility, power, integrity. I was probably 12 years old. My mum giving me this mad knife. I want to be the man that I needed in my early 20s. I want to be able to be there for younger men to help them make decisions that benefit them. Like, risk it all, put it all on the line. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones that stop ourselves from taking the risk. I need to be that rock that my partner and my children's emotional waves can crash on.
Hi, Matt. So, welcome to the podcast. One of the first things that we always ask and like to understand is, what's your take on freedom? What does it mean to you?
Freedom to me means choices. Freedom to me means the ability to do what I want, when I want to do it, based on the things that I want to do it for. I don't want governments. I don't want family. I don't want anyone's influence or agenda to influence what I genuinely want to do. I want to be able to achieve what I want to achieve in a place that I want to achieve it and make sure I can look after my family and my friends in doing so. Owning my own time, my own decisions, my own choices. That's freedom to me.
Perfect. So, for people that are watching, introduce yourself. What's your name? Where you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself, big boy.
Matthew King. I'm 30. Fuck, I'm 30. I don't know if we can swear.
No, you just fucking swear. Everyone says that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Fucking hell,
Yeah, I'm 30 now, born 11/11. Yeah, I am a ex-professional fighter, Muay Thai, MMA. I've moved to Indonesia, moved to Bali 2 years ago, just shy of 2 years ago now. Grew up in Western Australia, originally from South Africa. I moved from South Africa to Australia when I was quite young. My parents migrated, and grew up in beautiful Australia. But I also realized that beautiful Australia is just Australia, and I needed to seek something else. I needed to expand my experiences and my visions and community and connections, and Indonesia was the next location. So
Yeah, so tell us about, so it's Western Australia, Perth, you mean?
yeah, Perth.
What was it like there, I guess, growing up?
To be honest, coming from South Africa, it was hard, like when we were younger, because you lost out quite a lot on the exchange rate. If you had if you had $10,000 Aussie, that's like 100,000 rand. Like, the conversion rate is not good. You lose a lot coming over. So it was hard. Like, my dad was working 6 weeks away, 6 days home for years when I was quite young. We didn't have it all. We grew up in a little bit of poverty, I would say. We just didn't have it all. But we had food on the table. We had roof over heads. We had beautiful family, and like the best experiences. I look back at my childhood, I'm like, fuck, like, I wish I could go back, like I miss my brothers, like, in the household that we had. I miss the no phones. I missed building dirt jumps and riding our bikes. And we would, like I said, we wouldn't have the best of everything, but we made the best of everything. And for me, that was sick. That was so cool. My parents gave us a lot of freedom to kind of do whatever you want to do. Like, you figure it out, enjoy yourself, try not to kill each other or hurt each other, be home when the lights turn off. Like, that's kind of how it was. So growing up like that, it was sick. We learned street smarts, we learned conflict resolution, we learned skills, we learned problem solving, all these other things. We learned how to bang as well. We learned how to fight from a young age. We had to. We grew up in a low socioeconomic area, and we'd have issues with the local people, like the Aboriginal people in the community, And yeah, it'd be like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll be with our bodyboards going to the beach, walking to the train station. We'd have to fight these people before we've even had breakfast type situation.
That is
Jump on it.
breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Knuckle sandwich for breakfast, you know. But in having that, like coming from South Africa, seeing and experiencing the ramifications of apartheid and poverty and crime and everything like that, like our life was easy in Oz. Like we had it all. We weren't worrying about being stabbed or being shot. Have a few fist fights, and it was cool. My mum used to allow us to fight these people that wanted to fight me in the street. She'd be like, all right, if you want to fight my son, fight my son. We'll bang on for a little bit. Afterwards, she'd be like, you cool now? You cool? Shake hands, move on. And that's how it was, you know. So like my mum was sick like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like it was mad in that aspect. My mum created a space, like a home, a genuine home for all the kids in the community, a place for everyone to come to feel at home. Like if there was people that didn't have family or odd situations for Christmas, like mum would like, come to our place. There was always bikes on our lawn. Like growing up, you could see the progression of age. When we were young, it was like scooters and bikes, skateboards all over the front lawn. Then we got a little bit older, it was mopeds. And then we all got licenses, and then it was cars, and there's cars all down the street. And it's just like, oh, the King's boys are there. You know what I mean? Like mum would cook for everyone. Mum would like, it was just a sick upbringing. It was mad. I really enjoyed it.
What mix are you? So your mum's from
My mum's side of the family is Mauritian,
Mauritius.
and my dad's side of the family is like South Africans, all these South Africans. So
I like that. When you're speaking and you're growing up, I was sitting in my head thinking, that is freedom right there when we was kids. Because we could just go out, and like you say, you just got to be in before it gets too dark.
yeah,
But you could do whatever you want, and you could be whoever you wanted to be. And you know, you get all the challenges, all the lessons in life. But that was actually our first freedom, and then somewhere it gets a little bit lost.
yeah, absolutely. When I was quite young, we used to ride like push bikes, build dirt jumps, all of that kind of stuff. But we would be in the bush, you know, like we would be in these areas where there's lilies and trees, and we would build dams and we'd build all sorts of shit. But I used to go to my mum and be like, mum, like, what's the biggest knife you've got? She'd be like, oh, like I got a cleaver. It's like this big, you know? She'd wrap it up in the towel for me, put it in my bag. Like, I think about that now, and I think 2024, imagine you go ask your mum, what's the biggest knife you've got? Like, I know the UK has a huge knife problem.
Yeah.
Australia, it's not nearly as bad. But back then, we were trusted with these responsibilities to be able to take a knife outside of the home. And we were only using it for the right things. You know, we were cutting trees and lilies and doing all these kind of things. But at the same time, like I was probably 12 years old. And mum giving me this mad knife. But in doing so, she taught me things: responsibility, power, integrity, all these other aspects where in the moment you don't really think about it. You just think, I'm the don. I'm carrying this big knife in my bag. You know what I mean? But you look forward a few years and you think, my parents taught me things without even realizing they were teaching me things.
Yeah, and
For that, I'm grateful.
And so at what age did you move to Oz? Was it really early on?
Yeah, it was like really early on. Yeah, so just after apartheid, 94.
94.
Yeah,
How old was you then?
I was real young. It's like 3 months.
Okay.
3 months. But we've been back multiple times, like for longer holidays and experience all that. And the experience of South Africa is a weird one. And the reason I say that is because like the apartheid system was essentially, if you were black, you had no rights. If you were white, you had everything. So you could only have certain jobs, you could only do certain things, you could only live in certain places, you could only go to certain beaches, all of that kind of stuff. And my grandfather had land in quite a very affluent place, beachfront, beautiful. And in the apartheid system, they take that all from you. It's like you were set up, but now you're no longer set up. And for me, a large thought process is like coming to Australia. Like I have friends, like white friends, convict blood, lived in Australia for years. Their parents, their grandparents, grandparents, all of that kind of stuff. I'm like, you've got generational wealth. I'm coming here and I'm like, I've got to build it for me because I've got nothing to fall back on. So my thought process around it is like, if I'm to have it, like I've got to do it for myself. And it's a pressure, but it's also pressure makes diamonds, you know? So I'm like, let's get it.
Yeah, and so growing up in Oz, what were some of sort of your goals, or what path did you go down? You know?
Fighting was always a huge thing for me. I've always wanted to be a professional fighter. I used to watch UFC when I was a child. My cousin used to give me UFC DVDs and this and that, and I was watching Ong Bak and all this kind of stuff when I was like a boy. I watched the Rocky movies and all of that kind of stuff, and like I was just a natural born fighter. I wouldn't back down, but I was also smart enough to know when to fight, when to shut up, and that was the route that I thought. I was like, I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna go to the UFC, I'm gonna do that. But along the journey, like you also realize that fighting is one aspect of things and of life, but you also need to have something that backs that up. So I did a trade. I did a mechanical trade. I worked for Mercedes-Benz for 7 years, and I was a qualified mechanic before I was 19. I started when I was like, 15 years old. But I loved the passion of vehicles and cars because my dad loved that and he was into it and he still does. But you realize after a while doing the job, you're just fixing someone else's shit. Like I'm not in it for the love of this anymore. I love vehicles, I love cars, but I'm not loving fixing other people's shit.
Yeah.
So that's a step and a path that I took because coming from South Africa, like you could really speaking be a mechanic or like a laborer or something like that, teacher. And my dad always said, you need to have your papers, you need to have a trade, you need to have something to fall back on. And as much as that was relative back then, I don't think that's relative now.
Mm.
Mm.
Things have changed from then.
Yeah.
So what was the path after that then? Like you decided you was working at the Mercedes-Benz. Where did you go from then?
I actually went into mining. I just thought Australia was the best way you can make money. Like having a skill trade, the natural progression was to go to mining. So I went to mining. I worked in underground mining for a few years, and then I worked in surface mining. And like that was eye-opening, game-changing for me. I was like, yeah, you're making a lot of money, but this goes against everything that I believe. It's like I'm quite connected to the universe, to the earth, to God, spirituality, I guess you could say it like that. And it's like everything that I believe, I'm like, this is going against it. I'm literally damaging the earth for simple profits, real.
Mm.
And so why did you pick mining? Was it purely a financial thing because you had come from, South Africa and like Oz was just all money, right? Mining's one of those jobs that, you could do $250,000 a year, right? Or, a FIFO, whatever. Did that influence your decision? Was it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, time has always been probably the largest asset. I'm like, you can make money, but you can't get time back. So for me, I thought I could be working half of the year for double the money that I'm making now. On the opposing side to that, you also give up a lot. There's a large sacrifice in relationships, in friendships. You miss weddings, you miss birthdays, you miss births of your friends' children and stuff like that. But in my head, I was like, I could make enough money now. I can still be training next week for the whole week with my boys back at the gym in Perth progressing, and I'll go away for a week, and then I just try to utilize everything that I've learned and then put it into practice while I was away. So I didn't feel like I was going backwards. But as you progress in that, you realize that everyone else is probably learning at 60% faster rate than what you are, because they repeat things when you're away and you don't have the same facilities to kind of do that. You don't have the same training partners, you don't have the same coaching, you don't have the same genuine facilities to do what they're doing while you're away. So you realize that as you progress, they're progressing at such a fast rate that you almost get left behind.
So then what choice did that make you choose after that then?
So that was 2019, 2020, COVID came around. And I've always lived my life in such a way that I try to own everything. To have savings. I've always had a gym, all of that kind of stuff, like in my spot. And then when COVID came around, there was the talk of vaccination, and I was like, nah, fuck that. Like I stood up in front of everyone and I said, just to let you guys know, like I come from South Africa where I understand apartheid. And I said, like what you guys are speaking of now is essentially just a medical apartheid. I said, it's not. I know now that you guys are saying that this is a voluntary thing. If you want to do it, you can do it. If not, kind of do your thing, whatever. But I said, I know the way that this situation works, and I understand that there's going to be a time where it's like, I either get this to work or I don't get it and I don't work. And I said, I'm just saying now, 6 months before you force this on us, just to let me know a few weeks in advance, because I'm packing my shit and I'm leaving. And they're like, yeah, you come around.
And so this was when you were like mining and they forced vaccinations on you, right?
Yeah. So then obviously it worked the way that I thought it would work, and they came around to try to force that stuff. I said, I'm not doing it. I said, like, you can keep your money. I'm going to go back and I'll figure it out back in Oz. So I quit mining. I was still training. I couldn't really go to the gym because in Australia they had not allowed you to do any of that kind of stuff. But my coach is a G back home. We were like closing the roller shutters, and we were all training, coming through the back way, and we'll park our cars around the corner, and we still trained. And I did Andy Frisella's 75 hard challenge, like for 75 days, drink 4 liters of water a day, take a daily progress picture, stay on your diet, no alcohol, no drugs, and read 10 pages of a book.
It was that one?
Every single day, 75 hard.
75 hard. Yeah, someone else did that.
Yeah, but honestly, that shit changed my life. And it's like really about integrity, because in doing that, no one else knew that I was doing it. No one else, there was no accountability, there was no coaching. So it's like, it's up to you as an individual to make sure that you do everything that you say you're going to do. And the first time around I did it, I was like, I think like day 62, and I forgot one of the basic things. I'm like, fuck, I got to start again. So I did it again. So I was living that way for like just shy of 150 days.
Proper discipline.
But it changed my life. I was shredded, I was fit, I was strong, mind was on point, the vision was there. And I bought a sauna. I had a sauna at my place. I had a full gym set up. I would literally train day in, day out. I'd be watching UFC stuff. I'd be watching fights. I'd be practicing. I'd be watching tape in the sauna. Old boxing fights, old MMA fights, everything like that. And like the level of progression was just increasing. And then I also couldn't fight in Australia. And I thought, fuck, like I'm at a stage now where I was with my partner. We had been together my girlfriend, we'd been together for a few years. I just thought, this is not it. Like Australia just isn't it. If they're forcing this, they're really hindering your ability to make money. They're hindering your ability to do anything outside of just staying at home if you weren't vaccinated. So I thought, what's the next progression? Where can we go from here? I thought of a few places. Mexico was one of them because they didn't really give a fuck about vaccination. I thought of Texas as well, and I was like, it's far, not exactly safe from Oz. I'm like, that's not going to work either. And we thought, why not go to Bali? I know people in Bali. Like, I know that there's a few fight gyms out there. I've trained there before. I'm like, fuck it, we'll go check out Bali. So I got a vaccination exemption. I had COVID, and when I had COVID, I had to go to the doctor. And then when I went to the doctor, they're like, oh, you can get an exemption for 4 months. And then my mind clicked. I was like, I'm going to do some bad shit now. So I got the exemption. As soon as I got the exemption, I was like, we're going to Bali. So I told my girl, I was like, what do you think about checking out Bali? We'll go see if we can make it in Bali, this and that. She was all for it. So I came here for a month. We sussed it out. And like, we can do this shit. Like, this will work. So we went back to Oz. And then we worked like 6 months. We saved. We moved over our rental property. It sold like a whole heap of shit. Put a whole heap of stuff at our parents' place. And I'm like, all of a sudden I got COVID again. I'm like, another vaccination exemption. I was like, I'm out of here. We both got this vaccination exemption. We were gone. So then, we moved here. We moved here end of 2022.
So what was the, when Bali was an option, right? Did you have sort of a plan? I know you went for a month, you came back, did a save. Did you have any idea what you were going to do in sort of Bali?
I just knew that I can lend my services in fighting. Like, I've done this long enough now to be able to help others. I have the mindset, I have the physical skill, I have the eyes for that. And I'm like, I have the charisma to be able to talk to people as well and to be able to connect with these people in this community. I'm like, I'll figure it out one way or another. And then it was probably a few weeks before I actually came over. I got a message from a guy that I just knew on social media, and he was like, yo, I heard you're coming to Bali. And I'm like, yeah, I'm coming to Bali. He's like, I need a manager for my tattoo studio and you need a job. And I was like, well, let's get it. Perfect. So he set everything up for us, like with the lawyers and everything like that. We got a Keys House visas and all that. And I came over on that. And yeah, started earning very little money, just getting by. And over the years, over the time that I've been there, like we've really created this like family bond at the studio. These guys have been my family. I told them when I first got there, I was like, I want to be able to speak to you guys in Indonesian without anyone else knowing, like our customers. So that was my goal. I said, don't talk to me in English. I said, I'm Indonesian now. And then since then, like they've just accepted me because I've really respected them. I've really wanted to learn their culture. So like our studios, honestly speaking, I'm biased as fuck, but I would say like our studio is the best studio in the world based on connection, based on quality, based on like the vibes that we just have in there. It's mad.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Don't worry, guys. We're going to put the link later on.
Yeah,
for that.
we'll plug Bloodline Studio below.
So yeah, man. So yeah, you've been doing the tattoo things now. Like, how has your life here changed here, like from where it was now? What's the difference? Do you feel?
So 13 months ago, my ex and I split up, and ultimately we wanted the same thing, but just at different timelines. Wanting family, wanting kids, and all that. Like, I cannot wait for that. I want like 6 kids. I want an army of little soldiers getting around, you know? So, but I also understand as a man, we need to be the one that provides safety, security, financial, emotional. I need to be that rock that my partner and my children's emotional waves can crash on. And I said, I'm not ready for that. I can't put myself in that position yet when I know that right now I'm not in the position to give you what you truly deserve. And I think about this. I really think deeply about this situation. It's like when you fall in love with a woman, you are loving this woman for everything that she is. And then when you have children, you naturally just love the child. You know, this is just how it is. You just love your little man or your little girl. It's just like, that's just organic, you know. But with mum, I want to provide her the same love and the same safety, security, comforts, because I loved her by choice before I loved my baby organically. So that was something that I wasn't able to give to her at that current time. And we were perfect together. Like, there was no dramas in our relationship. Like, could have been my wife, could have been the mother of my children. But I also realized for myself that I needed more, and I had to go through those emotional moments and times of breakup, of sadness, of solitude, of loneliness to actually get to where I am now. 12 months, 13 months later, the Bali experience has changed for me dramatically due to the fact that I'm really coming into myself as a man at 30. When we separated, I was a boy and I thought I was a man. And now that you realize, all right, like you've got to figure it out for yourself. You have time, but you have no time to waste. So I'm really leaning into understanding who I truly am, getting the clarity on the way I want to move forward, and then use all of this to then serve others.
Yeah. So just tell us, just to go back when you landed, how was that process once you've got, you working in the tattoo store? You've been here for, I guess, a couple of years now. How was sort of that process and that growth in Bali? Because it seems like now, you've got, it sounds like you want to help in other ways, right?
Yeah. So at the start, it was quite difficult. I feel as if Bali really tests you. This place is extremely energetic, and in a positive way and in a negative way if you move incorrectly. When I first got here, it was quite overwhelming. I'm looking after someone else. I'm looking after myself. I'm trying to figure it out. But I had some sick people around me that were able to guide me in the right direction. Do this, do that. Like, maybe don't do this, use these services, this and that. So I was blessed for that. For the first probably 12 months for me, it was just figuring things out. After that 10 months, the first 10 months, like my ex, we separated. And that's when it really got challenging, because it's like you no longer have someone that you can just ride on. You know, like you come home, you've got your partner, you've got your girl, you can chill. Now it's up to you to really make it. So it's like it forces you to put yourself in the community and to really lean into these people around you. And naturally, when you start doing that, you come across people like yourself. You know, like I met Sai over a year ago now, and you really start to see that there are very like-minded people. So in doing that, you kind of pave a path and live a life that you genuinely want to live, because you're out here by yourself. You can do whatever you want. You know, when you're young and you're like, you want certain things, you can have your ice cream, but you can only have one bowl. And then it's like, now I'm 30 years old, I could eat the whole thing. And now you realize, I don't even want that. That's not what I want for me. You live your life based on what you want to do here. And there is that freedom and that choice and that complete authenticity to just be who you want to be and who you actually are.
Yeah, so talking about freedom, one of the biggest things is people that back home, stuck into their job. Now that you do have like essentially your job in Bali as a tattoo manager, right? Maybe what's your experience with it? Like, if somebody had a choice between like, working, I don't know, a call center or a desk back home in Oz, or managing a studio back in Oz, or managing in Bali, right? What's the difference, I guess? Because it's an interesting one, because you're still locked for time, right? But you're just in a better environment, I would assume.
Absolutely. So I feel the difference is, initially there has to be a perspective change, like a shift of perception. You are literally living in a place where we go from first world countries and we move to third world countries, which is a mad thought in itself. Like I moved out of Africa to move into Australia, which is like rosy, it's safe, it's calm, to then move to Indonesia where it's third world and you see it daily, So in that, I realized, although I live in a place and although that I go to a location and I work for someone else currently, it's like there's happiness here. You can still choose the things that you want to do. You still live a life where it's cheap enough to be able to experience things that you've never experienced in Oz, because you don't have the time, or you don't. You literally work 8-9 hours and you're traveling an hour before and an hour and after you're moving for 11 hours, and then you get home and then you got girlfriend, wife, kids, whatever it may be. You're tired, you're drained, you're in the rat race. You are part of the matrix. Whereas here, this place doesn't have the infrastructure for a matrix, to be completely honest.
A lot of my friends always, when I'm talking to them, they're like, how long are you staying there for? I'm like, as long as I can. And they're like, well, you're never going to come home? I'm like, I'm hoping not. And they're like, why? And the word I'm always using now is the quality of life. So like, same thing what you were saying there, I was just thinking in my head when you asked the question, it's just the quality of life out here. I could be doing the same job here, same job in England, same hours, whatever, but it's just the quality of life here. Something about Bali that I like. And maybe it's, I don't know, it's freedom, but I don't know.
It allows me to be able to work less hours, enough money to get by, but in doing so, it gives me the time and the ability to think clearly on what I actually want to do. Not just because you've now signed for a mortgage that you have to do this for the next 30 years. My mind is not even going that way anymore. When I was younger, I thought, I want to have my house paid off by 30. I want to have a family early, all these kind of things. But now I'm thinking, fuck that. Like having a mortgage is not a good financial decision anymore at all, in any way, shape or form.
It's old school.
Those days, unless you were to buy in the 90s and then you were making money in the early 2000s on the fact that your property has gone up 3 or 4x, Smart move then, but it's not a smart move now when you're paying 10, 12x your property prices to what you're earning. Like, it does not make sense anymore. So it's quality of life. These people in Indonesia, they don't have a lot, but they also have so much. You see them, they're smiling, they're happy, they appreciate you. If you treat them with respect, they treat you with respect. Even the animals here are different. I promise you, the animals feel the energy of this land. Whether it's the cows, whether it's the geese, whether it's the dogs, the cats, they are open to you. Whereas in other places in the world, dogs bark at you and run away from you, or they come and attack you. You know, like here, it's an energetic place that resonates with everyone.
You kind of said something like you're looking to do something else now. Is that?
Yeah, I believe that I have the ability and the value to provide for other people. And I want to be the man that I needed in my early 20s. I want to be able to be there for younger men to help make them make decisions that benefit them, not because of what society tells them, but because that's what they really want to do. When we're younger, I believe you asked, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know, people say astronaut, a firefighter, this or that. And they were genuine dreams because your mind was expanded. You weren't yet conditioned. You could do anything in your mind. And then you get to a certain age and then I want to be an astronaut. No, that's not realistic. You need to go be a copywriter, or you need to go work in a call center, or you need to sell cars, or whatever it may be. I want to be able to give to other people that thought process of you can actually do anything. Anything that you want to do, it's possible. So I want to be that person for other people, whether it's in fighting, whether it's in business, whether it's starting a family, or whatever it is. Like, I want to be that person of accountability and of integrity for the younger generation of men.
Yeah, because we met passing many times, but then we probably met when we was doing the breath class at Mason's, and that's when we really got to know each other. And then it's like, again, like, you start to realize of how the same way of thinking we're alike. And we started chatting there, and then even then when we was talking, I thought like, yeah, you and Mason kind of same thing. Like, you're good at being a male model to other males. So it's actually quite good to hear that you're thinking about going that way. So what steps are you with that now? Are you started it yet, or is this thought patterns right now?
It's thought patterns, but it's also like the vision is aligning at this current stage. It's a matter of clarity for me and then taking action. I've got the right people in my corner at this current stage to achieve these things. I've just got to take the next step. And the closer I get to that, the more I realize how much as men, a lot of us suffer from self-worth, self-love, all these internal situations and previous wounds and traumas that have not been addressed. And it would be nice for me to be able to aid people in addressing these situations. The more that I lean into myself, the more I realize that there are certain things that I need to overcome. And there are certain blockages that don't allow me to get to the next stage. So by being that for myself and learning the processes for me, I can then help others prior to even getting to that stage, early 20s rather than 30. You know?
So what are some of the common blockages that you see with the people that you work with?
A fear of not being enough, a fear of inadequacy, a lack of self-love, a lack of self-worth. And the reason I say this is I am part founder of a men's mental health initiative out here called Bali Brotherhood. And we have between 30 and 50 men every week showing up to really dive deep into complete vulnerability. But we're not that community of men where it's just about wallowing in sadness. It's like, all right, sick. This is how you feel. These are your emotions. This is where you believe it's coming from. But now it's about taking action on that, because we're not going to sit here and talk about the same thing that we've spoken about for the last 4 weeks and do fuck all about it. So I see that regularly. And I also see there's along the journey of men, some of us have put ourselves into business at such an early age, made a lot of money, but then they're still extremely unhappy and disconnected.
Mm.
And then there are others who have come from different backgrounds and upbringings where they don't have the money, the finances, but they have the love for themselves and they have the belief to overcome whatever it is next. A guy said to me a few weeks ago, he said, your cups are overflowing and the cup you're trying to fill is the easiest cup to fill.
Never heard that one. I like that.
And that changed my mind, because he was saying, like, the skills and attributes you have, people spend their whole life trying to get, and you're just trying to make money. So money's easy. Money's easy. He says, speak to me the way you speak, speaks to others the way that you speak to me, and money will come your way. But at the same time, we also have to believe that we're worthy of making money. And if we tell ourselves it's going to be hard to make money, it's going to be hard to make money. If we tell ourselves that we're going to win this fight, we're going to win that fight.
Mm.
So largely it's a belief thing, but it's truly understanding the capabilities and possibilities we have. Like, we are gods in our own right if we truly believe it.
Yeah, we put ourselves down. Is that, yeah, so true. And I think people I grew up with, I had one mindset of where I was going, and everyone else had this different mindset. And now years later, I'm looking at where I am, and I'm looking at where quite a lot of the guys are now. And I think to myself, it is just mindset. I had that belief, and all of us had everything going against us, but we had everything going for us at the same time. But it was just down to the belief system.
Absolutely.
What would you say to people that, maybe to yourself or people that are watching, based on your experience, right? Because it is quite a unique one to, from South Africa, apartheid, going into Oz, and now you're kind of moving back to Indonesia, right? Well, what are some things you would sort of tell yourself, maybe, back when you were younger, now that you've got this big revelation at this point in time? Yeah.
Definitely be trusting yourself in your situation. Take risks. Like, risk it all. Put it all on the line. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones that stop ourselves from taking the risk. But I always realize actually doing the thing is harder than thinking about the thing. It's like we influence ourselves so much to the point where we talk ourselves out of it. And when we do that, we lack confidence in all areas. It's not just one area. It's like, you told yourself you're going to be up at 7 o'clock for training at 8 and you sleep until 7:30. That has an effect on you. You don't just walk into the gym with confidence. Everything is flustered at that point. You've missed your first meal. Your thought processes aren't the same. You're no longer that man that comes with power and integrity to be like, I said I'm going to be here at this time and I can't be here at this time. So for me, it's like, take the risk, show up. Everything is figure outable. You'll find a way. And when if it feels as if it's not the right way, you're exactly where you need to be. Because this gives you the opportunities to now meet new people, learn new lessons, understand new things. It's like, there is no wrong situation. There is only a perception of what we believe is right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I'll have to watch this back again just to hear some of the stuff that we were speaking about. It really makes you think, man. Really like that.
Yeah, so if someone wanted to sort of get in touch with you, what's the best place they could connect with you on?
Definitely Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram, I know it's a tool if we use it as a tool, and it's a distraction if we use it as a distraction. You can doom scroll or you can learn, and that choice is on you. But yeah, Instagram, Matt Kaos, MATTTKAOS. And that's, to be honest, all threads with Instagram. That's the two places where I am at the moment. I will be moving into the YouTube space in the future, and I will be dropping game and spreading knowledge the way I can through that. But ultimately, Instagram, building that personal brand from authenticity and integrity.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, guys. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you want to get in touch with Matt, then I'll just drop out that into the description. Otherwise, yeah, mate, thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, man. Thanks for giving your feedback. Bless, man. Wicked.
Until next week, guys.
Peace out.